Let's be honest. Complaining is practically a hobby for us. Bad weather? Complain. Slow Wi-Fi? Complain. Your favorite show got cancelled? Oh, you're definitely complaining. But have you ever stopped mid-rant to wonder, why we do this? And why does it feel so good? So here's the thing. Complaining isn't just something we do when we're mad or frustrated. Nope, it's practically a hobby. Think about it. We gather with friends and what's the first thing we do? We start airing out all the stuff that went wrong that day. Ugh, work was the worst. My boss made me redo an entire report. Or, can you believe this weather? Why is it always raining when I don't have an umbrella? And somehow, instead of bringing everyone down, it's like a bonding ritual. Misery loves company, right? But why? Why do we bond over the bad stuff instead of, celebrating all the good things? Apparently, it's because complaining feels like a release valve. Our brains are full of pressure, like a balloon about to pop, and complaining is the pin that lets out just enough air to keep us from losing it completely. It's like a tiny emotional burp. All right, science time. Here's where it gets cool. Complaining lights up this little part of our brain called the amygdala, the part that handles emotions like fear and anger. When something annoying happens, the amygdala goes, "Hey, this sucks," and starts waving its little stress flag. But here's where the magic happens. When you complain, it's like your brain says, "Oh good, you're talking about the problem, we're working on it." It tricks you into thinking you're doing something productive. So venting feels like solving a problem, even though you're not really solving anything at all. You're just yelling about how your Wi-Fi is slow. It's like emotional multitasking. You feel stressed, you complain, you feel like you've accomplished something. But did the problem go away? Nope. Do we feel better? Somehow? Yes. This is why complaining is like potato chips for the brain. Once you start, you can't stop, and it's weirdly satisfying. But here's the twist. While a little complaining can be helpful, there's a limit. Too much. You're stuck in a negative loop that can turn your brain into a permanent grump machine. More on that in a sec. Not all complaining is created equal. There's venting, the harmless kind where you just need to rant about how someone cut you off in traffic, and then you move on with your day. It's healthy. It's like when you pop a pimple, disgusting, but oddly satisfying. Then there's toxic complaining. This is the kind where you're not really looking for a solution. You're just wallowing in the negativity. You ever have that one friend who's always like, "Ugh, everything sucks, the world is trash, people are the worst"? Yeah, that's toxic complaining, and it's a slippery slope. The more you complain like this, the more your brain gets wired to look for the bad stuff. It's like your brain's forming a habit of negativity. Pretty soon, you'll be that person who can't even enjoy a vacation because the beach is too sandy and the sun is too bright. Yikes. Here's something even weirder. Complaining is contagious. Yep, like an emotional flu. Ever notice how when someone starts griping about something, it spreads like wildfire? Your friend says, I hate Mondays, and suddenly you're like, yeah, Mondays do suck. Next thing you know, the whole group is complaining about work, traffic, and the pathetic state of airline food. Why? Well, it turns out we're wired to mirror the emotions of people around us. It's a survival mechanism. Back in the day, if someone in your tribe was upset, you had to tune into that to figure out if something dangerous was happening. Fast forward to today, and that's why when Karen from accounting starts her rant about the broken coffee machine, your brain is like, "Oh no, is this a threat?" and joins in. Basically, complaining is social glue. It helps us bond. We might not like it, but hey, we're all in this messed up world together, right? Misery, you guessed it, loves company. Okay, so we know that complaining can go overboard, but here's the cool part. There's actually a healthy side to it. Complaining isn't all bad. In fact, it can be a great way to process your emotions and connect with people, if you do it right. Psychologists call it instrumental complaining, fancy term for complaining with a purpose. This is when you gripe because you want to fix something. Like if you're at a restaurant and your order is wrong, instead of stewing in silence, you politely complain and voila, problem solved. It's about identifying the issue and taking action, instead of just whining into the void. When you complain like this, it's empowering. You're not just venting for venting's sake, you're using it as a tool to make things better. So yeah, a well-placed complaint can be kind of awesome. Okay, if you've stuck with me this long, I'm about to drop some serious wisdom, the complain and gain strategy trademark. Yes, I made that up, but trust me, it's gold. Here's how it works. The next time you feel the need to complain, try flipping the script. Instead of just ranting for the sake of it, complain with a goal in mind. Ask yourself, is there something I can do about this? If yes, great. You're on your way to instrumental complaining. If not, well, maybe it's time to let it go. Because sometimes things just suck. Like, you're stuck in traffic. It's awful. But complaining won't change the fact that everyone and their grandma decided to hit the road at the same time. What you can do is crank up your favorite playlist and make the best of it. So next time you're tempted to go full Karen, remember, complain and gain or let it drain. And while we're at it, let's complain with purpose. Here's my complaint. You're watching this and having a good time, right? Mockingly exasperated. So why haven't you hit the subscribe button yet? Come on. That is a problem I can solve. Just click it. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can also hit that notification bell so you never miss my next rant-filled masterpiece. I promise we'll have a lot more fun venting together. Winks. Have you ever met someone who complains so creatively, it's almost an art form? Like, they don't just say, this line is too long. Oh no, they'll paint you a picture of how tragic their life is because they've been waiting 15 minutes for a latte. Turns out, some people are really good at making complaints entertaining. And you know what? That's not always a bad thing. It's all about tone. If you complain in a way that's humorous or relatable, people might actually like you more. Think about stand-up comedians. They're practically professional complainers. They take everyday annoyances and turn them into hilarious rants that make us all laugh. Why? Because we see ourselves in it. We've all been there, stuck in some frustrating situation, and when someone jokes about it, it's like, yes, finally someone gets it. So yeah, complaining can be an art form. If you're good at it, you can turn a boring vent session into a stand-up routine. But if you're bad at it, well, you're just that person at the party no one wants to be stuck next to. Alright, let's talk about the flip side. When to just stop. Look, complaining is a natural part of life, but there's a point where it goes from helpful to harmful. You know that friend who's constantly negative, and after hanging out with them, you feel exhausted? That's called complaint fatigue. Yeah, it's a thing. When all you do is focus on what's wrong, it starts to mess with your mood, your energy, and your relationships. Not just for you, but for the people around you. So how do you know when you're crossing the line? Simple. When you're complaining more than you're appreciating. If all your conversations are just a cycle of, this sucks and that's terrible, maybe it's time to take a step back and ask, what's going right? Even if it's something small like, hey, I found a great parking spot today. Balance is key. It's about noticing the good stuff as much as the bad. That way, you don't turn into a permanent grump machine. Okay, so here's another important skill. How to complain without ruining your relationships. Because, let's be real, the people we complain to the most are the ones we love, our partners, friends, family. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The wrong way, dumping all your negativity on someone without thinking about how it affects them. The right way, complaining with care. If something's bothering you, bring it up, but do it in a way that's solution-oriented. Instead of, you always forget to take out the trash, try, hey, it'd really help me out if we could find a system for the trash situation. This keeps things constructive and stops your relationships from turning into one big vent fest. Plus, your loved ones will be way more willing to listen if they know you're not just looking to complain, but to actually improve things. So, there you have it. the weird, wild world of complaining. We all do it, and honestly, it's not going away anytime soon. But if we can learn to complain with purpose, complain with style, and maybe even laugh a little while we do it, then we've cracked the code. Complaining isn't the enemy. It's just one of those quirky human things that makes life a little more bearable. So go ahead, let out that sigh of frustration, share that rant with a friend, but remember to balance it out with a little gratitude too. And hey, if nothing else, at least now you know why complaining feels so good. Isn't that something to smile about?